Will do. Thanks, Anthony. Morning, Eddie.
Good morning.
Eddie, can I start off with first? Given that result against Leicester, what difference, what hope, what confidence has it given just within the last 48 hours? How has it changed things?
I think naturally winning, I've said all along in this difficult challenge that we face, winning is everything. Winning breeds so many good and positive outcomes from it that it was what we absolutely needed. And you can see a lift in the players, a bounce in their step, renewed confidence, renewed belief. So we now go into 3 games left, and we go in with into the 3 games with a very positive mindset.
Eddie, with 3 games to go, maybe just how significant was it that Dominic Solanke got some goals? Because I suppose the reaction from his teammates as much as anything else is just maybe how significant could it be that he's doing what he wants to do, what he needs to do?
I think he's been a very popular member of the dressing room, always has been. He's such a likeable lad, a really good teammate, very unselfish. I think that's been one of his best qualities, but obviously that's unusual in a centre forward. But he is very much a team player, and he works for the team in a very unassuming way. So I think his teammates were absolutely delighted for him to get rewarded with the goals. And as you say, you could see their delight they shared in that success with Dom, which was great to see.
Manchester City, how do you prepare a team, maybe both tactically and both mentally, to take on Pep Guardiola and his team?
Yeah, unique challenge. I think Manchester City, very different game really from any other that you face in the Premier League. I think they've got unique qualities, an outstanding coach, a brilliant team. So we're going to have to be elevated to levels maybe that we haven't given this season to get a result, but we're capable of doing that. I think tactically it's something that we'll prepare for. Try and give the players the information that they need, and hope that we deliver. As I say, probably are going to need our best performance of the season to get anything in this game.
Eddie, just on the injury front, you just the challenge of facing City is, I suppose, tough enough on paper. What injuries are you dealing with ahead of this game now?
Josh King, we'll see how he is, whether he makes the game. We've got Nathan Ake, who will be out. Chris Mepham will be out. Simon Francis will be out. Adam Smith won't make the game. So we have obvious concerns there defensively. Very stretched in that department of the team.
And Eddie, just finally from me, as I think you mentioned in your first answer, three games to go. How much do you look at other results and maybe try and take something from it, moving forward? If somebody gets a point there or doesn't get a point there, how much does it play part of your thinking, part of your planning?
The only result that I concern myself with is ours, and we're going to give ourselves the only chance is by getting results. And our aim and our plan is to try and get results in all 3 games left. Then after that, if we need to look at other results to, try and get us over the line, then so be it. But it's not going to happen. We're not going to get there unless we win games. So that's our only focus.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Grant. Paul Belverson from PLP.
Thank you very much. Eddie, with all those defensive injuries, how important was Steve Cook's return in the second half against Leicester and his performance, his leadership at the back?
Yeah, really, really important. I think very fortunate to be able to bring a player on of that experience and that calibre. Cookie's had his own injury issues and worries. He had a major hamstring operation just before lockdown. And then he just felt some discomfort. I can't remember what game it was, a recent game where he felt some discomfort in that hamstring. So we didn't really want to play him unless there was an absolute emergency. That emergency happened with Nathan going down. And he came on and I thought he was absolutely brilliant for us. really contributed to that second half performance, really led the team very well vocally, an inspirational figure. So, yeah, we're going to need him at his very best in these last few games.
And I don't want to go around the whole team, but Junior Stanislas strikes me as someone who's had wretched luck with injuries over the past few years, really. But he seems to be making a really important impact too at the moment.
Yeah, Junior's a top quality player, no doubt about that. As you say, he's had some really bad misfortune with injuries in recent seasons, but when he's been fit, I think he's shown his qualities. Again, a very popular teammate, a very popular lad in the dressing room. And I think when he came on second half against Leicester, I think he just gave us that composure on the ball, improved decision-making, and just that quality that we know he possesses. And I think, again, that you look at the penalty and the nerves that he didn't show probably was a great hallmark of his character.
Yeah, that was incredible calmness, wasn't it? I mean, that's got to be the most important penalty he's ever taken. And Bournemouth don't have the greatest success rate from the spot, but I mean, he must have calmed the whole team down in that moment.
Well, if there's one person you want to take that penalty, it is Junior. I think he's got that, maybe outwardly that style that seems very relaxed, but I'm sure internally he knows the importance of it. But he's delivered what he wanted to deliver to the very highest quality, and I think that's a very unique character to have in that moment. But that's what you need. You need a cool head in those situations. He demonstrated that, and contributed to. I mean, it was given as an own goal, but contributed to. I think it was our third goal as well with the shot that gets deflected. So he's a massive player for us.
And with Dominic, you've been talking him up for weeks and months, and especially his attitude to the team, his unselfish nature, as you've mentioned already today. Strikers do tend to get bugged by goal droughts, though. So have you seen a change in him since ending that on Sunday?
I wouldn't necessarily say I've seen a change in him, because I think Dom's a very level lad in terms of his behaviour and how he conducts himself. He is. He's always struck me as a very team-orientated player. So he cares about the team. He wants the team to do well. He plays for the team, not for himself. Great characteristics and qualities to have. I think I'm delighted for him, just on a personal note, that he's got that out of the way, and he scored some very important goals for us now. Hopefully that's the start of many more to come. And I think his teammates are delighted for him as well. I think they shared in that moment with him.
And as far as Manchester City, you've not managed a result against them in the Premier League yet, but is it fair to say that the last three, maybe even more than that, you've been right in those games until reasonably late on?
Yeah, we have. I think we've been in the games, but in the games it hasn't been enough. They've had some very late moments against us. It really hurt us. I mean, the home game here always sticks in my mind. That was, I don't know how many seasons ago that was, but that's still there in my head. But yeah, they've got those players that can do that to you in seconds. They can hurt you with moments of quality. Now, I think for us, we have to be in this game. We have to be competitive. We have to have our shape right. We have to defend well with a good mentality. And I think then I always believe we can beat every team in the Premier League if we perform at our very highest levels. And I think 1 to 11, I don't think it can be anyone that's not quite there in order for us to get a result.
Fingers crossed for you, Eddie. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul. James Savundra from TalkSport.
Hi, Eddie.
Hi.
Eddie, what character traits and qualities does this side need to replicate from that performance on Sunday to get a result against Man City?
I just think that the willingness to cover every blade of grass, to chase, to harry, to fight, to block, it's sort of all the defensive qualities we're going to need to protect our goal. I don't think you can prepare the game any other way. I think we know we're going to not have a great deal of the ball in this match. I think we know that our shape's going to have to be very good. People are going to have to do their jobs. And then we're going to have our moments in the game. And then that's where we're going to need to show our qualities in those moments.
you said earlier on that you may need to elevate your team's performance level higher than it's ever been this season. But do you think you may need to elevate it to a level that you've not seen from Bournemouth? Perhaps even your greatest ever performance you may need?
Yeah, quite possibly. I think that's the size of the task we face in this match. But I believe it's possible. And I know that if we can put it all together, we're more than capable of doing just that.
And I know you're only focusing on what Bournemouth are doing and not looking at what the sides are doing around you, but do you feel like you need something tomorrow night?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I feel like we need to try and win our last 3 games. I'm very reluctant to say anything else. I mean, that's not in our DNA anyway. I think we have to go to try and win the game. If we can't win the game, try and draw the game. Obvious things to say, but we need to try and get a result in this match.
And just finally from me, how much has that victory how much has that victory against Leicester on Sunday night done to boost your own morale and reaffirm your own beliefs that you know what you're doing and you've got the ability to get results from these players?
Yeah, I don't think my belief has ever been questioned by myself. You know, I've always believed you just need other people to share that belief, and now hopefully more people do share it. And I think it takes events and moments to sometimes generate that. Hopefully, the Leicester game is the moment that sparked the real belief that we can do it internally.
Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you.
Thanks, James. Ed Elliott from PA.
Morning, Eddie.
Morning, Ed.
Just going back to Nathan, you said after the game the other night that he was doubtful to play again this season. I mean, is that still the case? And you said it was a groin injury. Could you just sort of elaborate on the issue?
Yeah, it's a groin injury. It's a minor groin injury. I don't think it's anything too serious for Nathan. I think I'm still in the same situation, really. I don't know whether we'll see Nathan again this season. I don't think it's a definite no, but it's not a definite yes either. We'll have to see how he responds in the next few days.
And there's obviously been continued speculation with Nathan over the last year or so about his future. Do you think there's a chance potentially that regardless of what division you're in next season, he may have now played his final game for Bournemouth?
I think it's be silly of me to comment on that, to be honest, in this moment of time. I think next season and everything beyond it will take care of itself. We need to concentrate on the next 3 games, nothing else.
Okay, and going on to the game, we've spoken in the past about goal difference. At the moment, that's against Bournemouth. City are obviously the highest scorers in the division. They've been free scoring at home since football resumed. How do you balance the need to get points with, if you did go behind the damage limitation in terms of the goal difference?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a valid question. I think goal difference could be important, but I don't think anything's more important than the points tally that you have. So I think first and foremost, we need to try and see if we can get something from the match. And that will be the only thing in our preparation. I think during the game, then obviously other considerations come into play depending on the scoreline. And
just finally, it's been touched on already about the previous games between Bournemouth and City. How significant are previous games? Are they irrelevant, or do they have a psychological impact on a team when they haven't beaten another team in the Premier League?
Again, it's a good question. I think from my side, I can only speak when I was playing. It had no relevance to me at all. Every game that you face is a new game. But there are still some strange occurrences in my career where teams we could beat, other teams we struggle to beat. But I always believe if you haven't done something yet, then there's an opportunity to create that moment of history that changes that. And that's always been my way of looking at things.
Thanks, Eddie. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. And finally, Joe Glanville from Fire Radio.
Oh, sorry. Morning, Eddie.
Morning.
First things first. Obviously, getting 3 points against Leicester on Sunday is the most vital thing. But to actually battle back and put in a second half display like you did, how much confidence does that give you?
As I said, it gave us a huge lift to win that game. Winning is the thing that can spark so many positive emotions. So we need to harness that and carry that on into our next match.
You mentioned at half-time that your survival hopes, you felt like it was as bleak as they possibly could be. Can you just sort of paint a picture of what it was actually like in the dressing room at that time and how much the turnaround has actually galvanised the squad?
Well, the half-time would have been very much like any other half-time. There was adjustments to be made. We made I don't know how many substitutions we made now, but we made a substitution. So it's a normal half-time, but obviously a very important one because we knew the consequences if we didn't turn it around.
And you mentioned as well, the importance of just playing without fear. Do you think in many ways it just simply boils down to that for the remaining 3 fixtures and just playing without fear to try and get the maximum points possible?
Yeah, I think that would be great if we could do that. Easy as it is to say, much more difficult to execute. But I think players have got to this point in their career through just enjoying playing football and not thinking too much about the consequences when they play. And I think that's still as relevant as ever in our current situation.
And finally from me, obviously the weekends, West Ham, Watford, Villa all winning and applying a bit of pressure on your side to pick up points as well. I mean, easier said than done. You're going to Man City now, but how vital is it to capitalise on that opportunity to actually apply pressure on the teams around you too? All those things may well happen, but I think for us, it's not really to apply pressure to other teams. We know we need points to stay in the division. So the prize and the target is there for us, and we're doing everything we can to achieve it. So we're not really looking at other teams in any way. Brilliant. Thanks, Eddie. All the best tomorrow.
Cheers.
Thanks, Joe. That brings to an end the broadcast section. We'll move into the embargoed section now for 10:30 p.m. tonight.